Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
After creating the folder, if you wish to share the folder with others, then you must decide which users on your network can access the folder, and also what types of activities they can do if they have access to the folder. You can set the folder's permissions by right-clicking on the folder for which you want to set the permissions in the folder list, and selecting the Properties command from the pop-up menu that appears. This launches the Folder Properties dialog box where you'll be able to set the folder's permissions. You should see a tab that says Permissions when you open the Properties dialog box. Click on that tab to view the permissions for the folder. There are two permissions created by default in private folders, the default permission and the anonymous permission. Both levels are set to none, as no one but you, the creator, has access to the folder by default. You can modify the permission level of the default identity to change the permission level of all the users with whom you share access to this folder. You would click the default identity from the list at the top of the Permissions tab, and then use the drop-down menu named Permission Level down below to change the role of the default permission. This will then modify the associated abilities listed beneath the permission level drop-down box, depending on which permission level you chose from the list. Now you can also add individuals or groups to the permission list of the folder as long as they are on your network. That way you can modify the permission levels of the individual users and user groups in your network, and it allows you to have more control over who has access to your folder and what activities they can perform there. You can also delete user permissions you had granted to deny future access to the folder. If you're interested in setting strict security over the contents of the folder, consider adding and setting individual permissions for only the users that you want to have access to the folder, and then leaving the default permission level at none. To add a user or a group, on the Permissions tab, click the Add button below the list of user permissions for the folder. That will launch the Add Users dialog box. You simply select the users that you want to add from the list, and then click the Add button to add them to the list box below. When you're finished selecting users, click OK to add them to the permissions list. Then to specify each user's permission setting, select their name from the permission list, and select a role from the permission level drop-down below the list. You could also simply set individual permission settings for the user by selecting their name, and then selecting and deselecting each of the individual permissions listed below the permission level drop-down to create a custom permission level for the selected user. As far as the default permission levels go, you could be assigned an owner, and an owner can create, read, change, or delete any item in the folder. They can create subfolders, and they can grant and modify all permissions for others to the folder. A publishing editor can create, read, change, and delete all items. They can also create subfolders. An editor can create, read, change, and delete all items. A publishing author can create and read items and create subfolders. They can also change and delete items that they created. An author can create and read items, and can also change and delete items that they themselves created. A non-editing author can just create and read items. A reviewer can read items only. A contributor can create items only. The contents of the folder will not appear. They have no read access. You can also select None, and they have no permission in the folder. If you didn't even want the folder to be visible to them, you could uncheck the box, although that really isn't an issue with private folders as much as it is public folders. Now, whenever you have your permissions set up, you would simply click OK to set the permissions and place them into effect.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.